Thank you, sir. So last class we were solving some problem, right? How many are over? 13 to 7 problems are over, right? So I thought of starting matrices today, but I'll do it next class. I'll have digital data. Now I'll solve the remaining problems. So from 21 we'll do it. So what is the 21st problem? Tell me.
Of all the girls cylindrical cans, right, sir? On the given volume of 100 cubic.
Wait. So how will you take the data? Of all the which are in, so all the closed cylindrical cans of given. So what do you mean by the given volume? Volume is fixed. So if you take a right circular cylinder, okay, the right circular cylinder will have what all parameters associated. It will have its height and it will have its radius, correct? So tell me one thing, is the height and radius constant? Is the height and radius constant when they say given cylinder of cylinder of given volume? No, because the height and radius can be adjusted in such a way that pi r square h, when you do it as a final product, will always give you 100. 100 how much less? 100 cc. Yeah? So 100 cc. Are you able to understand this one? So here what are the variables? R is a variable and H is also a variable next.
Find the dimensions of the can.
So find the dimensions of the can which has minimum surface area. Okay, how to do this? See, if suppose this is a statement based problem. Suppose they want to ask the same question in terms of case study. Can you give me a scenario where this will be applicable? If they want to design, like they want to give the same question as case study. Can you think of a real-time scenario where we'll be using cylindrical cans or something or else? Gas cylinder. You can think of cool drinks, right? So if you observe the tins in the way they produce it, it is there in the shape of a cylinder only. The reason why they are bending it inside and all those things are a different story. So they'll give you a story before asking this question. They'll say there is a cold drink company which wants to optimize their price. So to optimize their price, what they will do, they will try to reduce the surface area or volume of that particular can that they are trying to design. So what should be the dimension of it so that it has the minimal surface area? So when they do that minimal surface area, they will also ensure that it is packed. The packing is also more effective. You're able to understand. So that is the way the case study based questions are formed. But if you look at all the story, you will get confused. But if you look at the actual meaning of it, they're still asking you what should be the dimension of that particular cylinder. So that the volume is surface area. So that it has minimum surface area. Okay. So what is the formula for surface area? So the technique to solve problems from statement is first is always write down the given data. So what are the given data here? volume of the cylinder is 100 cc and it is fixed because they didn't say the cylinder is fixed. They told the volume of the cylinder is fixed. So in some questions, right, they'll try to twist and give you the options. So if they give you given cylinder, what does it mean? Listen to my question carefully. If they say given cylinder, now what is constant? R and H are constant. If they say a cylinder of given volume means only volume is constant, radius and height are not constant. They can vary. A simple thing, but it can change the whole meaning. Are you able to understand this one? So in this case, R and H are not same. So surface area that you are trying to design should be the least. So what is the surface area? So surface area is 2 pi R H. Correct? But what should I take? Total surface area, because they didn't mention it as curved surface area. So if they just mention surface area, never forget this. Okay? So they want the surface area to be the least. Am I clear to this one? Now the next step is whichever physical quantity is supposed to be least, that you need to differentiate. Correct? Then application of maximum. When you want to differentiate it, what is the first thing you need to ensure? Whether the physical quantity is a function of one variable or two variables. Now look at the expression. You know how to find the variables. This expression says that S is a function of, it is a function of R and H. I'm able to see two variables here. So when that is the scenario, you cannot solve it. So how will you convert it to a function of one variable? For that, where will you take the help from? You will take the help from the given data. So what you should do is, this is equal to pi r square h. Correct? R square will be how much? Or I can write h is equal to how much? H is equal to 100 divided by pi r square. Accepted? H is equal to 100 divided by pi r square. Is there any doubt in that? Right. After that, can you guys solve? So this is 1, this is 2. What are we supposed to do? Use 1 in 2. When you do that, S will be equal to 2 pi r into h over 100 by pi r square plus 2 pi r square. R and r are gone, pi and pi are gone. Now, did this become a function of one variable? Yes. S is a function of only r. Now, differentiate and solve. Tell me what the answer. 200 divided by r plus by r. So this is S. So ds divided by dr will be equal to how much? Minus 200 divided by r square plus 4 pi r. Correct? So this should be equal to how much? 0. So 200 divided by r square is equal to 4 pi r. This will go 25 times. And r cube will be equal to 25 divided by pi. So r will be how much? 25 by the whole power 1 by 3. Correct? Here, any mistake? Four pi r. Oh, 50 times. Sorry. So it should be 50 by pi. Okay. Then r should be equal to 50 by pi the whole power 1 by 3. Correct? So once you have got the value of r, take it and substitute it here. You will get the value. So h will be equal to how much? 100 divided by pi into r square. So 50 by pi, the whole power 2 by 3. Correct? So 100 divided by pi power 1 by 3 into 50 to the power of 2 by 3. So how can you write 100 as 2 into 15? So 2 into 50 divided by 50 to the power 2 by 3 divided by pi power 1 by 2. How much would be the answer? 2 into 50 by pi the whole power 1 by 2. So check the answer. Radius should be 50 by pi the whole power 1 by 3 and height should be 2 into 50 by pi the whole power 1 by 3. Is that the answer? But one thing that I didn't do is what? For which you lose marks. Second differentiation, second order differentiation, and then you have to check whether it is minimum or maximum. If clear, please take a note of it, make it fast. Right? Next. Go to the next question. 22nd. Okay. So there is a wire of length. How much value? 20 meter wire is there. Centimeter. 28. 28. Okay, 28 meter is to be cut into two pieces. Okay.
One of the pieces is to be made portion and after it.
Okay.
What should be the length of the two pieces so that the combined area of the square and the circle?
So what is given here? What is fixed? What is fixed? It's the length of the wire that is fixed. So L is a constant, and how much is this value? It is 28 meter. Now you have to break it into two parts, where one of the parts will be x and the other part will be L minus x or 28 minus x for that matter. So if I take the x and convert it to a square, and if I take L minus x and convert it to a circle, okay, then if I convert x to a square, then what is each side going to be? It will be x by 4, because the perimeter of the square is equal to the length of the wire that you have taken. Correct? X by 4, x by 4, x by 4, and x by 4. So what is the area of square? Area of square is x square by 16. Let me call this as 1. Accept it. So if I take a circle, then what is going to be the area of the circle? Area of the circle is pi r square, but I don't know what is the value of r. So how to find r? The circumference of the circle will be equal to L minus x. So r is equal to L minus x divided by 2 pi. Take it and substitute it here. So when you do that, area of circle will be pi into L minus x the whole square divided by 4 pi square. Pi and pi will get cancelled. It will be L minus x the whole square divided by 4 by accepted. Correct? So it is n minus x divided by 4 pi. So this should be 2. Now what are they asking? The combined area, that is area of square plus area of circle, should be the least. Correct? Or minimum, whatever you call it. So I'll call A is equal to AS plus AC. Correct? So A should be minimum. Now look at it. Is A a function of one variable or two variables? X square by 16 plus L minus x the whole square divided by 4 pi. How many variables are there? There is only one variable. Because L is not a variable, it's a constant. Correct? So one variable you can start differentiating, find the value of x and tell me what is the answer. Do it fast. So what is the value? Yes. So what the answer is? X is equal to X is 112. 5 plus 4. How much is L minus X? 28.5 divided by 5 plus 4. Correct? That's it. The differentiation part I'm giving it to you. It's 22nd, right? 23rd. What is the question? What is the 23rd question? Someone read it?
Due to the volume of the largest record, and can be explained as pair of various sizes,
So you have a sphere into which you have inscribed a cone. Prove that the volume of the
largest one that can be explained as pair of various orders.
okay. So the sphere's radius is capital R. So what does it mean indirectly? Sphere has radius capital R. So what are all the conclusions I can make? Surface area is a constant and volume is also a constant. How can they conclude? Because the surface area and volume of a sphere depend only on radius. Okay. Now, our job is to find the height of this, the volume of this cone. And the volume of the cone is supposed to be maximum. You can think of inscribing infinite number of cones into this. But there is only one cone which is going to have maximum volume. So if this is R, what can I say this is? This is also R. If I take this to be the center O, A, B, if I take this to be smaller, then how much is this height? Can I call it as H minus R? So for cone, I am using small h and small r as the variables. Now what is going to be the volume of cone? Volume of cone is 1 by 3 pi small r square into h. H minus capital R. Okay. These are the values that I have taken. Now think of a way where we can write. So if you observe the volume of cone, small r and small h, they both are variables. And how do you write it in terms of capital R? Right? A, O, B, let me take this as C.
So, R and small, you get X is R plus R.
Okay.
Capital R plus.
Which one? X is this thing according to you?
No, sir, X is the small height. Which one is?
This one.
I took that as X. The radius is smaller. So we get H is the height of is R plus X. And the radius of the cone is 2 whole capital R square minus X. So from that, we can find the volume of the cone in terms of capital R square and X square.
How many variables do you get there?
One variable. Capital R is constant.
Okay.
So in terms of X square, in terms of the small.
Okay. So that is, yeah, I'll do that. But there is an alternative also. I'll tell that also. But as of now, I'm following this. And the next step, after I write this equation, I'll tell you how to do it in another way as well. Okay. Tell me. So he wants to take this whole height as h, correct? So you want to take this whole height as h. Then what is this going to be? You want to take this as x. Okay.
So h is
So small h will be equal to capital R plus x. R is a constant.
yes.
Small x is a variable.
Yes.
Ah.
Then, x squared plus
So x square plus small r square will be equal to capital R square. So x will be equal to root of r square minus small r square. So take this and substitute it here. Right up. So what will you get? So 1 by 3 into pi into
Sir, I took r into
r in terms of you take r square in terms of x. So you will have r square is equal to capital R square minus x square. Correct? So you will write it as capital R square minus x square into h. How can you write it as? H you can write it as r plus x. So this will be the volume. So now it became a function of one variable. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, that is one way of doing. Okay. And the alternate way is wherever I see right angle triangles, I'll be observing for trigonometry. So if I take this thing, right? So what did I take in the previous case? First, can you copy this? So copy this, and after this, leave some space for you to do the calculation. I'll give you an alternate way of. Copy that now. Just carefully remember. यदि x से हटता हूँ, मैं आपको पहले clear है. This is x. This whole height is h.
Differentiate them.
You can differentiate.
Just capital R would be 0.
Okay.
So 0 minus 2x.
The UV, no? You didn't apply UV. I mean, can you stopping this? Right. So can we try another way of doing it? So this can attempt. Okay. So if I take this as theta, for example. Okay. So what was the previous scenario I assumed? I took this as h minus capital R. In the previous scenario, I took this as h minus capital R and this is smaller. Okay. So volume of the cone is still 1 by 3 pi r square h only, no doubt in that. I'm not disturbing it. Okay. So 1 by 3 into pi into, how can I write smaller in terms of capital R? Small r will be equal to capital R cos theta. Except square. Okay. Similarly, h minus small r divided by capital R is how much? H minus capital R divided by capital R is how much? sin theta 1. Then what will h be equal to? R into 1 plus sin theta 1. Does it make sense? So take this and substitute it here. It will be R into 1 plus sin theta. So volume has become a function of theta. Once you find the value of theta, again substitute it back, you will get the volume. That is an alternative. Okay. So whichever is convenient for you, you can choose it. So mostly in the cone-based problems, you can either go with complete trigonometry, or you can go with Pythagoras theorem, or you can go with similarities of triangles also. But in this case, unfortunately, we cannot apply, but there will be certain problems where you can apply them. Okay. So make a note of this, and whichever is convenient, try to solve, and tell me if you are able to get that answer. Do it fast. If you're getting stuck, let me know. We have 8 by 27. Volume of cone is how much? 8 by 27 times volume of sphere. So using this method, did anyone get 8 by 27? So what is the value of theta you got? Anybody? That method, Subraj, if you got 8 by 27. Which was
So actually, I'm that.
it is cos square theta. So 2 cos theta into sin theta, the minus sign, plus cos 2 theta divided by 2 into 2 is straight line. So minus sin 2 theta plus cos 2. So cos 2 theta is equal to sin 2 theta. So tan 2 theta is equal to 2. Tan 2 theta is equal to 1. So 2 theta is pi by 4, which implies theta will be pi by 8. So if I take this and substitute it here, 1 plus cos theta divided by 2 plus sin 2 theta divided by 1 by 3 pi r cube into 1 plus, sorry, half plus 1 by root 2 plus 1 by root. This one, no, using this method. No, you will get it. I made a mistake. So volume of cone is equal to 1 by 3 pi r cube into cos square theta into 1 plus sin theta. Okay, have this in mind. I think the differentiation is slightly complicated. So I thought it is cos theta and sin theta. Got it? So dv by d theta will be equal to 1 by 3 pi r cube into cos square theta will be 2 cos theta into minus sin theta into 1. This is slightly tough, but I don't think you can handle it. You go with previous method, this idea alone you can take. I'll do it, but I thought, see, I was under the impression that this is cos theta, and cos theta sin theta, that is why you say we have written one of the steps as sin 2 theta by 2. I thought differentiation is easy, you directly get an angle, but it is taking a lot of steps. You make even a small mistake, you lose it. So go with the previous method, that is using algebra. Okay, did anyone get the answer using previous method? That is easy, right? Okay, this part, if you want, you can write it as a part of homework and let me know. This will take some time. Okay, and you need to be very careful with the differentiation part. Yes. So those who are clear with this can proceed to the next one. So 4 sin square theta plus 2 sin theta minus 1 is equal to. This will again you have to find discriminant and then to clear it. It's going as a lengthy procedure. But remember, this idea can be used. While you're practicing, think in a different way. You can do the next one. Proceed to the next one. Right. L is a slant rate. 1 by 3 pi s minus. So what is the set 24th? What is the problem demanding? Can you read it? Let us show that the curve surface area. Question புரியுதா? So there is a cone. What type of cone is it? It's a right circular cone. So when you take a right circular cone of what condition? The curved surface area of that cone is supposed to be these, but what is fixed? Volume is fixed. So here the volume is fixed, means is the dimension fixed? No. Dimensions can change. That is why the question itself is related to dimensions. Okay. So you take a cone of fixed volume. What is the volume of the cone? 1 by 3 pi r square h. The challenging part is framing the equation of the weights. Correct answer. L is this thing. So volume of the cone is 1 by 3 pi r square h. This is fixed. What is the curved surface area? Or the least surface area that is or curved surface area? Least curved surface area number pi r l. So how many variables are there? 2. Converted to one variable. How will you do it? So you know the formula. L square is equal to x square plus r square. Correct now? So can I write this as pi r into root of r square plus h square? But again you have two variables. So what can you do to h? Or you can take r square is equal to b divided by 3b divided by pi h, which implies r square is equal to 3b divided by pi h. Or else we'll take h no. H is enough. So h is equal to 3b divided by pi r. See if you observe, right, I'm trying to change according to the problem. It doesn't mean that you should not take r square and solve it. You can do it. But I'm just trying to think which one will be a tedious process and I'm trying to avoid it. Okay. Can I put it here? Now what will happen? Pi r into root of r square plus 9b square divided by pi square r power 4r. Can I write it like this? Yes or no? So this is the curved surface area, which we call it as A itself. Now what can you do? dA divided by dr should be equal to 0. The challenging part is differentiating this, you need to be careful. Okay. So generally, certain problems you can solve like this also. If area is least, area square will also be least. Okay. If area is least, area square will also be least. So when you square on both the sides, you can eliminate one variable and then proceed. That will make your life easier. You can eliminate the square root. Okay, well, so a square contribution, find out dA square divided by dr and find equate it to 0, find the value of r. Do it and tell me. You can do that fast. A square first you have to think. What is a square? Pi square r square into r square plus 9b square divided by pi square r square. So multiply that r square with every term. So pi square r square into r square plus 9b square divided by pi square r power 4. So r square if you multiply, this will become r power 4 and this will become r square. Now can you solve it? So this is not area, rather it is area square. So what will be the statement that you will write? When area is least, area square will also be least of it. So dA square divided by dr is how much? Pi square into 4r cube plus 9b square divided by pi square r. So pi square into derivative of r square 1 by r square is minus 1 by r power 4 into 2r chain root. Did you understand what I did? Is there anyone who didn't understand the last step? What is the derivative of 1 by r square? Minus 1 by r square the whole square. So derivative of 1 by x is minus 1 by x square. Our derivative of 1 by r square will be minus 1 by r square, other square, into derivative of r square in chain process will be 2r. That is what I did. Okay. So when you cancel this, you will get 4r cube minus 9b square divided by pi square r cube is equal to 0.
I'm getting r cube is
so you did it directly. You did eliminate the square.
No,
you took a square and then only did.
No, sir.
Then you did it directly. A square and then. Okay, r power 6 will be equal to 9b square divided by 4 pi square. Any doubt in this? Now, if you take square root on both the sides, this will become r cube is equal to 3b divided by 2 pi. Is this what you got?
So, E divided by pi.
2 is not there. Check. Here 2 is there. I missed this 2. So 2 is there. Then this will become. Then it should be root 2 pi. 3b divided by root 2 pi. So this is the value of r cube. Yeah, if it's able to understand, not able to understand. Base expression. Is it easy? Is it tough? Of course, it is not easy at most. But are you able to handle it? Yeah. If I'm repeating it again, you will definitely get a problem. Especially these kind of problems when you. It's better. Yeah, when you don't get it correct. No, you're not getting it. PV divided by root 2 pi. If they ask you the relation between h and r, h is equal to root 2 r then. So r cube is equal to 3b by root 2 pi, correct? So this can I write it as this can I write it as 3 into b is 1 by 3 pi r square h divided by root 2 pi r. Accepted. So this 3 and 3 are gone. Pi and pi are gone. 1 r is gone. So r will be equal to h divided by root 2, which implies h is equal to root 4. This is what they ask. Result. What is that? Did you understand? Which one? This one? This one? This one? 4r cube. So I'll differentiate it and equate it to 0. When I equate it to 0, pi square will get cancelled on the bottom. Okay. So 4r cube minus 2 into 9b square divided by pi square r cube. That's what I put. Other equal is r. Then I wanted to find r in terms of b. So r I took it to this side, r power 6. The whole thing will get shifted to the right. When it shifts to the right, 2 into 9b square divided by pi square r cube. Pi square r, correct? Sorry, r is written because r has come. Okay. But this 2 and 2 will get cancelled, so that we got it. This 2 and this will get cancelled. So another 2 came in the denominator. I'll pull it up. Okay. Now r power 6 is this. So I'm able to see squares. So I took r cube. Now r cube whenever. See, if at all you don't want to take r cube also, you can skip this step, and in the place of b, you can directly substitute 1 by 3 pi r square. You will still get the same answer. If you want, you can try and I'll try for you to bring it. Did you understand? Yeah, right. Niranjan, is it clear? Is it clear? So can you try one last problem for the day on your own? At least frame the equation and tell me that is enough. Calculation part you can do it here.
B is X.
Which one?
B is X.
B just
Instead of whole module.
you made a mistake here. No? Step in back. Tell me what is the mistake. Semi-vertical means when the cone is like this, when you draw a line, this angle is called as, if I the cone top left, this whole angle is called as vertical angle. Listen to this. So when you take a cone, the angle between these two slant portions is called as alpha. Then half of that will be called as the semi-vertical. So frame the equation, that's enough for me. Okay. Calculation and giving it to you. The remaining part is homework. What are they asking? Show that the semi-vertical angle of a cone. So you have a cone, and this cone's semi-vertical angle is alpha, and this cone has maximum volume. So E is equal to 1 by 3 pi r square h. So this volume is supposed to get maximum, but what is given? Of the given flat head. Okay. So L. Okay. So you need to prove that this alpha is tan inverse of root 3 root 2. So it's very simple. Wherever angles and right angles are there, what will you think of? Go with trigonometry. So if you observe volume, you can't directly differentiate. But what can you do? So slant height is given upon constant. So what is changing? Alpha is changing. So R will be equal to L sin alpha, except R by L sin alpha. R is equal to L sin alpha. This is 90 degrees. This is hypotenuse. So 90 degree into vertical, horizontal. So vertical opposite, another sign. So H by R will, so H will be equal to, it will be in substitute for them. So what will be the value of volume? 1 by 3 pi into L square sin square alpha into L cos alpha. So L square sin square alpha into L cos alpha. Now see, if I do dV divided by d alpha, what will I get? So pi L square L cube divided by 3, I am not disturbing it. Sin square alpha into cos alpha, what is derivative? So sin square alpha into cos alpha derivative. What is it? 2 sin alpha cos alpha into cos alpha. That is derivative of sin square alpha is 2 sin alpha cos alpha into cos alpha is left as this. Plus sin 2 alpha. Sin 2 alpha is where this one? Differentiating. See, I wrote this function separately and then differentiating. So 2 sin alpha into cos alpha plus sin square alpha into minus sin alpha, accepted. This whole thing is supposed to be equal to 0. Any doubt in that? Is very clear. Now see, can I cancel the sin alpha part? I'll take out sin alpha, I'll equate it to 0. So I'm taking sin alpha to the other side. So when can any variable be taken to the other side? Only when it is a non-zero value. Why am I saying it is a non-zero value? When will sin give you a 0? And the angle is 0. So sin alpha 0, now what am I trying to say? Alpha is 0. Well, if this alpha had been 0, will it be able to form a cone? It will be like this. So alpha cannot be 0 at all. So that is why I cancel this sin alpha. So what is that you are left out with? 2 cos square alpha plus sin square alpha is equal to 0. Sorry, minus sin square alpha is equal to 0. Upper sin square alpha divided by cos square alpha is equal to 2. Correct? Upper, what will tan square alpha be equal to? 2. Then what is tan alpha equal to? then what is alpha equal to? That's what they asked us. Correct? So you would understand how to proceed. So by now you should have got the steps that you're supposed to follow. In every statement problem, there will be two things. What are they? One will be given data, and one will be the data for which you need to find the maximum or minimum value. So based on the way they have framed the question, first take the data properly and frame it. In this question, if you see, so there are two ways of framing a question. One is they'll give you the given data first, then ask you what is the maximum volume or maximum surface area something. But in this problem, what did they do? Prove that the semi-vertical angle of a cone whose volume is maximum. So they are directly saying you first need to have a cone in your hand whose volume is maximum. So that is not a given data. That is the one which we need to find. Okay. So first write down the expression for it. When you write it, first thing, whichever is maximum or minimum, whichever you want to solve, first check whether that expression is a function of one variable or two variables. If it is a function of one variable, your life is easy. But no problem will have a function of one variable. So they will wantedly make it like that. So if it is, there definitely be a function of more than one a maximum two the so two variables. So for converting it to a one variable equation, what are you supposed to do? Your eyes should start searching for given data. And the given data, try to write one of the variables in terms of given data and substitute it back in the value where you need to find which is maximum or minimum. Then once you frame that expression, again the trickiest part is you need to find out that expression for which maximum or minimum is expected is a function of which variable. I'll tell you again what mistake you'll do. L square is there, alpha is there. How many of you thought that L is also a variable? Sometimes you would have thought, okay, when that in this problem it is not happening. Why? Because I asked you one thing, which is a given data. It told slant height is given, so that is a constant. So volume is a function of only alpha. So then, whichever is the function, whichever is the variable a function of, you need to differentiate with that variable. Another, if you look at this problem, I didn't write dv by dl or dv by dx. Instead, I found it in some of the notes. You wrote the expression in terms of y, but you divided with x. That is wrong. I told this multiple times. So the denominator should be the variable for which this is a function of. The numerator is a function of. So you should write dv by dr. If you don't write it, it's write it off. So dv by dr, then you have to differentiate, equate it to 0, then start solving. These are the only steps that you need to follow. So two problems I could understand from today's. You guys didn't have grip of the formulae from surface areas and volumes. You were asking me about the slant height and all other things. Curve surface area of cone. That should not happen. By next class, ensure you are good with it. Okay, semi-vertical angle except it's a new term, but other things are not new. Correct? So first master that, and secondly, change your approach or thought process of approaching this question. I gave you the algorithm. I hope it is clear, right? You guys try it. Okay. So in spite of it, you have a problem, then bring it up. I'll try to address what is it. So there will be no problem beyond this. Okay, because somebody is going to frame the question, you know the using one. There is nothing outside. Okay, I've given you the reverse process of thought. Solve it. Any problem, bring it to me in the next class. So next class, I'm not going to do any problem from this exercise unless you are going to ask. I'll directly start off matrices. Okay, matrices and determinants, maximum it is going to take 4 to 5 classes. That's it. So next Monday, if I'm starting, the week following it, we'll be able to complete it. Means even before the end of June, we'll be done with the first one. So yeah, maximum as I told you, September end, I'm sure it'll be done. So you guys need to match this week. Suddenly, if you say I'm fast, I can. You have to open your mouth and ask me what I'm supposed to do. What I'll tell you. Okay. Please do those things. If there is any doubt, get it clarified. So yeah, that's it. Okay. So those are online. I hope there is no doubt, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Keep solving them. Any
Thank you,
doubt you
sir.
approach. Okay. Yeah. I'll send it. Okay. We'll get it.